Hello, respective viewers. I'm George from Ireland. Well, the names are in those who've successfully nominated to be Chancellor of Cambridge University. It's an elected post, but there hasn't been a contested election for well over a century. So Lord Sainsbury is stepping aside. He's a Labour life peer, yes, owner of the supermarket chain which his grandfather set up. So Lord Sainsbury went to Eton and one of the Cambridge colleges, and yeah, was in business for a long time. Very, very wealthy chap, crony of Tony Blair, not terribly well known. Prince Philip, the late Prince Philip, husband of Elizabeth II, he was Chancellor from the 70s till he stepped down about 2012. So it's an office which is usually held for life. And the last two chancellors who stepped aside, I think they're the only ones who've actually retired. Usually they die en poste. Don't know how they managed to engineer nobody standing for it against the candidate for so long, why it was a sole candidate, uncontested elections. Well, it's very, very different now because there are 10 candidates nominated. I think it's a very easy nomination process. I know at Oxford University it was incredibly straightforward. I couldn't believe it. I was a candidate in that election. It was one form, and there didn't seem to be any exclusion criteria. Anybody, anywhere in the world, citizen of any country, resident anywhere in the world, with any education, with no education, could stand, so far as I could tell, didn't need a single signature. I don't know what the procedure is for Cambridge University. There were 39 candidates for Oxford. It seemed to be ridiculously easy. So even if you were not able to actually come to the United Kingdom to serve, remember this is an honorary post. I don't think it's a salary or anything. And you don't even have to live in the city, just go there occasionally for major ceremonies. So as a figurehead, is as it were a constitutional monarch. Anyway, grandees, often aristocrats, had it well into the 20th century. So who are the candidates? Well, in no particular order, Professor Neil Wynne Evans, a Cambridge don of astrophysics, okay, not terribly well known outside Cambridge. Spoiler alert, I think it's going to be a big name who gets it. Name recognition is everything. Sandy Toksvig, very well known from her work on radio and television. She's born in Denmark, I think, to Danish parents and moved to the United Kingdom as a child, or is it the other way around? Anyway, she's Danish-British, and she attended Cambridge in the 70s. Methinks she went to Univ. She's well known as a comedienne. I mean, I can't think of a gag by her. So, she's born in about 1957, and she'd read archaeology, anthropology, and law, wanting to go into law, but never ever attempted it, and is driving forward the causes that she believes in. Always an ebullient character. She stood in 2003 to be Chancellor of Oxford University and got her arse handed to her. As a leftist friend said, Sandy Toksvig is the only vaguely left-wing person who's going for it. The other thing is she came out as a lesbian in 1994. Now, that was a lot more controversial than it is today. It's not remotely controversial now. So she's a Euro fanatic. She's part of the Women's Equality Party. Well, the problem with that party is the word women's. Is equality or it's not. Can't be equality for one segment of society. How about the Men's Equality Party? That would be daft. So she's a hardcore feminist. She is a sworn enemy of children, a deadly danger to children. And one of the flagship policies of that vile political party was the murder of children right up to the moment they're about to be born, children who are 9 months old in the womb. Wow, staggering, absolutely sick. But, that goes down well in a certain segment of society. And sadly, she's one of those most likely to get it. People don't perceive her as vicious because she's got affability, she's wisecracking. It's difficult to work up a hatred against someone who's so cheerful and always smiling. And people can't really compute that with the murdered children, with these corpses of mutilated girls and boys. And that's what she stands for. Right, so then there's Lord Chris Smith as Finsbury, Labour MP, elected in 1983. Now, he was president of the Cambridge Union, that's a debating society at Cambridge University in the 1970s, and I knew the late Reverend Father David Johnson knew him well, who said Chris Smith was very brainy. So he's English, he grew up his teenage years in Scotland, and then he did a PhD at Harvard in English literature. Elected in 1983. And 1984, he said at a rally, "Hello, my name's Chris Smith. I'm the Labour MP for Islington Finsbury, and I'm gay." So he came out as the first member of parliament to declare himself to be homosexual. And in the 1980s, that was very much stigmatized. So that did take some moral courage. Obviously, there would be curtains for your career. Of course, there have been gay MPs for centuries. They're occasionally outed, but nobody was going to declare himself to be gay. And he was diagnosed HIV positive in the 1980s. And in those days, it seemed like a death sentence. They got this, they died in agony within 5 years, usually. But anyway, he got his treatment, and incredibly, he's still alive, which is wonderful. And then he declared himself to be HIV positive as he was standing down from Parliament. He's Master of Pembroke College, Cambridge. I think his own college. He says he's about inclusion, and he says upholding academic freedom. Was obviously badly under threat in Cambridge because they sold their soul to Beijing. And they got so much money from the Chinese government or its allied sources. Absolutely nothing wrong with having Chinese students. They don't object to that. But let's be frank, some of them are spies for the Chinese Communist Party. Not all of them, no. But, some of them are sworn into that, and they swear an oath for the furtherance of the party's interests no matter what, a totalitarian regime. And that is very, very worrying. So if you say something that Beijing finds objectionable, if you tell the plain truth about what they're doing against the Uyghurs, that's it. They'll demand your career is over. Cambridge can have its academic freedom, or it can have Beijing's cash. It can't have both. And sadly, I think money talks. If it's between educational imperatives and financial imperatives, finance wins every single time. The mighty dollar, or yuan in this case. Then there's Gina Miller, so this anti-democratic campaigner. This lady is originally Guyanese, now British, was in business of some kind. So she had moved various cases. I don't know how she got locus standi. Miller against Secretary of State for exiting the European Union, and Miller against whoever it was, the Prime Minister. So she won both her case in the House of Lords. So she couldn't abide the fact that the British people wanted independence. So she says she's about equality. Well, okay, although some votes don't count if they agree with her. And social change. So she's very bad news. A member of the Liberal Democrats. She's never contested public office until now. So Mark Mann, an innovator, I didn't really know about him, so not very well known, so I think he's got not a snowball hell's chance. Dr. Mohammed El-Erian, so he's currently president of Queen's College. He was CEO of a company, and so he wants to make Cambridge bigger on the world stage, and he wants to philanthropic outreach. That's begging. Development office means begging off alumni or corporations to cough up. So he'll be the first non-white chancellor, the first Muslim chancellor. Many people say that'd be a step in the right direction. Greater inclusivity. All right, Lord John Brough of Madingley. Now, he used to be Chief Executive Officer of British Petroleum. Then it became Beyond Petroleum, openly gay for a long time in the oil world, which was very red-blooded and heterosexual. So he's a crossbench beer, as in neutral. So he says he wants innovation. He says he wants better leadership and so on. So that's 3 openly gay candidates out of 10. Cambridge is a very gay-friendly city. So Tony Booth, who's a Don, he says he wants more ethics, to do more to promote ecology. He was very prominent in the Extinction Rebellion, so he's an environmentalist with the emphasis on the mentalist. I mean, yes, I agree, climate change is a problem, we've got to do something about it. But, the United Kingdom is shutting down oil and gas exploitation in the North Sea, therefore shipping in oil and gas, and a lot of energy is wasted shipping it from long distances. It'd be better for the environment for the UK to access it locally. Ali Azim, he was in tech policy, parliamentary candidate, I can't even remember which country. He is also of the Mohammedan persuasion. Dr. Ayham Amora, likewise a Muslim chap. So he has been in energy, sustainability, the environment, stuff like that. So not very well known. So who are the runners and the riders? Well, the serious candidates, I think are Chris Smith and Sandy Toksvig, Gina Miller. I think Sandy Toksvig is way out in front. I think Gina Miller and Chris Smith have got a good chance. They're all seen as leftists. So, yeah, I give Sandy Toksvig about a 50% chance. Gina Miller, maybe 20%. Chris Smith, about 20%. The others, about 10% combined. What do you think? Goodbye.